Welcome Alan back to the Utility Board. Thanks to Alan and our City Council for approving our fifth member. Sandra, you have, talk about board positions and liaisons?
Absolutely.
We have an agenda item, right? Update board appointment officers.
I'll start.
Okay.
I think Danny had the ball on that,
Oh.
but she didn't ever read the table, but.
All right.
We,
All right.
more or less, we could keep the same board appointments that you guys have now, or we could integrate Alan in however you want. And
Why don't we announce what they are and then go from there?
So currently chairman is Tim Hudson, vice chairman is Ann Patterson, secretary is Bill Stoner. Finance committee, I believe, is Ann and Aaron. Personnel is Bill and Tim. I would have to look at can I see your thing for just a second, please?
or liaisons to.
It's
The liaison,
Bill. Go ahead.
Bill is electric, water is Ann, wastewater is Aaron, I-lines is Ann as well, and then admin is Tim. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to, where we wanted to.
Take no action or just discuss it or whatever you want to do. Just want to leave it out there.
So I guess what I would suggest is why don't we table this till the beginning of the year? Let's reintegrate Alan. And we typically have this discussion towards the end of the year or the beginning of next year. Let's reintegrate Alan and then we'll bring the topic right back.
So we kind of doubled up on,
That was what was discussed at the last
Okay.
time when we did liaisons,
Okay.
was bringing it back when we had a new board member. That's why it was on the agenda.
right?
Yeah, I took on water
You did.
and maintained eye lines.
And have maintained.
Alan was telling me that he started he was the deciding vote on the I-lines utility back in the day.
Oh,
right?
so it's your fault. Sorry, Sam, I didn't really mean
But
that.
let me tell you, I'm not afraid to make a decision.
No, actually, it's a very good business for us. It is very good for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that then. Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
That'll work.
If it's okay, I'll make the motion like I usually do.
Okay,
Yes.
you do that.
But
In the meeting?
we need
Yeah.
to talk about the committees too, perhaps.
We just made those changes.
Yeah.
First of the year, you said, right?
Yeah. I'll be coming off in December and done what I can do with the rate study. So if someone wants to jump in on the finance committee, I would not be.
Want to finish another cycle. So that's because I have expressed that. I feel like it ties closely with the chair. So
I don't know. I don't know if it's really crucial for me being another budget cycle because I never have been able to get Sandra But I'm not sold on another budget cycle necessarily.
Okay. All right, so my question becomes, do we need to be assigned for someone else to sit in the budget cycle? Okay,
And you express an interest.
yeah, I have expressed interest, so either I sit on both till the end of the year and we make a change, or now we got to have a more robust discussion about where and when.
Why don't we just wait till the end of the year and then revisit the whole thing?
I think Bill just nominated Aaron to stick through one more budget cycle. Thank you.
All right, very good.
But Alan is going on the island.
Yeah. But worthy topic. Thank you, Aaron. Okay, are we good? All right. Sam and David. Can we get a substation, please? Can you have that in a couple weeks ready for us, please?
Saturday, are y'all gonna sing?
We would love, we would love. We do not have a singing number prepared tonight, but we do have a proposal that we are going to request the rejection of all the bids that we've received for the 69 kV switches and the substation transformer. We were coming to a close on the dates that we needed to make a decision on those anyway. And then we have a proposal. Like to go BOT on that, just it made more sense as an entire project scope, as well as being able to pay for things in a way that we can pay for things. And so we have a proposal from BFMS to help us with the procurement.
Yeah, it seems to have worked really well on the water wastewater side, and we
I think
ran into some
the
issues.
capital's pretty
Yeah.
big, so I think it makes a lot of sense. It can help us with some early financing to get the transformer and the switches, so I think it makes some sense.
About the procurement process, I think everybody's pretty familiar. It's
We're gonna roll in that under the I-65 line thing.
No, those are two separate projects. So we're requesting to table the overhead project. Brought it up to a few of our guys that we were going to bring it up at this board meeting. Their heads kind of exploded because we have so much going on right now. So I said we'll back off on that for just a minute and see if we can at least the BOT process started for the substation.
So that is separate.
That is separate. So the overhead line that we have currently is existing. It's fully functional right now. What we'd like to do is deconstruct that and then.
It's right where that pole
underground.
got hit a couple years ago,
Yeah,
right?
we're trying to alleviate some of those
yeah.
issues. Just because it is such a crucial feed to the business park. So
I believe Aaron's confusion may have been the original one had that listed on there, that when you had sent that, John, had that, and then we corrected it, and I don't know if did it get uploaded, the new one?
yeah.
That's probably some of the
Thanks for
confusion.
finding an excuse for me being confused.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
So, one question is we're very experienced with the BOT process with water and wastewater now. Is there a very diverse and larger set of contractors that install substations to get a robust bid process, you think?
Yeah, and you'd be surprised, there's actually some of the similar players.
Oh, really?
I've had some discussions, Bowen has a power division.
Okay,
division,
good.
So.
Same
We've
people we
also
work with
had a
now.
discussion with ISC, who does all the design and
Right.
engineering and everything. And Phil has brought up a couple extra names. So as we
Okay.
move forward with this process, we're going to get Phil's take on it as well. And that may be able to help us with a few more names we can add to that list. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and kind of the add to that is Phil is still a very, very important part of this whole process. I mean, I am not an electrical engineer. I will not claim to ever be one or know. I will be helping run the process with my team and with our selection. Contract negotiations, things like that, but it's still very much going to be designed by a civil engineer or by an electrical engineer.
So tonight we're going to approve the program getting started so we can start advertising. We can,
Yes.
We'll start putting together the guidance documents and then
okay.
ready to advertise as soon as we can.
Make a team like we did last time.
So we're rejecting the bids and then.
We have
and
two
then starting
separate,
the-
two separate agenda items, one to reject all bids and then one for the BOT procurement process.
I mean, the more that I learn. It's not one thing you buy off the shelf. A lot of different components to it, and then there's a lot of different components that are specialized that you would want. Allows you to have a little bit more control over your material and your.
And like we had mentioned in the rate study discussion towards the end, it frees us up a little bit because for the substation transformer itself, in the details and everything, we had to supply 40% payment at order, another 40% once it shipped, and then the rest once it got here. So we're unable to make payments like that. So
How is the BOT process going to be different as far as that goes? I mean, will that just, because somebody will have to pay for that?
Yeah, basically, you're, rather than a low bid situation where you're getting a trust. We'll make it very clear in the RFP that that's part of it. Out to, but it'll give some more flex to that where otherwise you're here on a 60-day bid hold trying to figure out how to pay for
Correct.
it and you're not legally allowed to.
correct.
So what's happening, like we've approved upfront capital in water and wastewater. Well, our partners in the engineering and the construction firms have actually already purchased or gotten in line for the longer lead time items. This will allow us the transformer the same way.
Okay.
They have more buying power than us, like a Bowen, they could.
Yeah, they,
And once we explained that to ISC or Phil, he thought this was a great idea also. He has just never been exposed to it because they've done engineering and construction all the, in
Right.
one.
At IPA, they fund everything themselves. So they don't have to answer and they don't have to go through the same legal steps that we do as municipalities. So.
Yeah, I just don't want there to be a situation that, you're coming to the board, once the project has gotten started and all of a sudden there's a gap between
Correct, yes.
getting the funding from the bond.
No, this
and
actually helps
paying.
us.
Yeah.
Whereas a normal bid, low bid would have put that entire burden on us.
David and I have discussed ways that we're going to try and alleviate, because I know an issue sometimes with BOT, especially when it comes to a large project scale, change orders can be kind of a thing that they get a little hairy towards the end. So we
Towards the end. Towards the end.
Yeah. So we have a plan going forward with that, just to stay in contact with John, help us stay in contact with whoever we choose through this process too. To help.
That's where we'll get locked.
That-
Guarantee
yeah.
maximum price.
Right.
Yeah.
If the change orders
Yeah.
happen, it's owner driven.
Yeah.
Only, we want one change order. at the
Correct.
end, right? Where we get money, they get money back.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we don't anticipate any problem with station contractors. They exist.
Oh, they do. They do.
Oh, yeah.
They do
Oh, yeah.
exist, and that's where ISC will come in handy as well. Their knowledge and Phil's knowledge, working knowledge with a few different contractors. So it'll help. It'll help.
So we expect several folks to.
I think we'll have a very good list to choose from.
Operator listening, I don't need equipment by itself.
Yeah.
We have one, just one.
Yeah, when we were receiving 1 and 2 bids for something that crucial, I think that was kind of a red flag. So.
Well said. Yeah, one of the other things that we would also have had to have done is that, ISC was sort of angling to do construction and assembly work of this, but that actually would have had to have gone out to bid as well.
Yeah.
And so ISC was not guaranteed that work either. So this way, we're all familiar with the BOT process, and, while it is new waters for us using electric contractors, the homework that Sam and David had done indicators that hope is that this will be as seamless as what we've seen on some of the water and wastewater projects.
We're doing this. Phil has already been contacted by a few wanting to start the process. So I don't think we're going to have any shortage of people bidding.
If they can get a transformer here in 40 weeks, then maybe we'll hire them.
Maybe they can.
Process timing, a couple months.
Yeah.
Couple months.
As we go through things. And then with this interest, we'll remember the page limit.
You usually put a part in, as I recall, about what their prior BOT projects have been.
Yeah.
And they'll be asked to kind of
Right.
demonstrate that they've been through this process in the
Yeah.
in the non-water wastewater.
Yeah, and not only BOT, but also their electric substation.
Right,
Right.
Experience.
Exactly.
It'll be important to see both, because it is a little bit unique. We We haven't done it yet, but again, we call it around the few, you guys have already gotten more.
Yep.
I think all the good work on the water wastewater.
But also, it doesn't add more urgency, it gives us some flexibility, but we need to be firm with our process with the rate increase also, because bond timing that will then begin to allow us to pay, so. All right, all is well. Like it. All right.
Yeah, Ryan and Spencer, do you need to come up to talk about the GMP next, or?
So we have on the agenda the resolution 2026-09 for GMP number 3 for the wastewater treatment plant. And I do have Bob Holden here from Wessler to answer any questions either here or when we get in there. I'm just going to give a real brief summary and highlights of kind of what is included with this GMP. This takes us into phase 2, so we'll go this takes us from 10 MGD to 15 MGD as part of the expansion. We'll see some more buildings go up, clarifiers, additional disinfection that we're adding to that. And also included in this is the Chicago Street Administration building. They're doing the earthwork and some foundation stuff there now, but this allow that for that building to be completed. So just wanted to see if anybody had any questions on that, or if we want some more detail. Like I said, if I can't provide it, I know Mr. Holden absolutely can. So see if anybody had any questions on that. I print out all 70 some odd pages, so just just the scope.
Yeah, we're becoming experts at BOT with some of our folks actually present to others on it. So.
Still sort of awestruck by the dollar figures.
Oh, you try not to look at that.
But speaking of dollar figures, I think it was a discussion we had that the initial number from Bowen for phase 2 is a little bit more than we had estimated, but with engineering and other costs, the total budget is still fine.
That was actually on phase 2 for
What?
wholesale water.
Okay.
So I believe,
Okay.
Bob, right, we're right on line. We're right on line.
Okay.
For wastewater treatment plant.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
We did close last Friday on the wastewater loan. So that bond.
Which made this ask a lot easier.
All right. Any questions? All right, we're good. All right, Seth.
Yeah, let me kind of come on up, Seth. Let me sort of introduce him. Is that the items tabled because besides doing eye lines, another hat that Seth wears is taking care of our IT contractor. And he did his due diligence. We had to table it as they worked through some items, but I thought since Seth is here anyway, we could talk a little bit about cybersecurity because I get asked about it a lot. We've done a lot of good proactive things and at a high level without giving away any of our security secrets that people see online that would, help them invade us.
Like it's not in the news right now.
And Seth really knows this stuff well. I could kind of let him talk about it a little bit.
Okay, well, some of you may or may not be aware, our cybersecurity is contracted out through Exos. They have a cybersecurity wing, Exos being our MSP for IT. So we've got them back, I think a few years ago to kind of handle our cybersecurity management. They have software installed on our systems. They proactively monitor the servers and computers. They have a team, I believe downtown, that's kind of what they just do. They eat and breathe cybersecurity, keep up with the latest trends, different threat actors that may pop up. And, so far, not that this is necessarily indication of anything per se, but we have not had any attacks on our system that have turned into anything. I'm not aware whether there's actually been attacks or not. That's kind of, I think they say, hey, there's been something that tried and then stopped, but we haven't had anything happen. We haven't had any ransomware threats. We haven't had any incursions into our system. And so my indication that they're doing their job well in that regard, that we haven't had to deal with anything. And I would say the closest we maybe got was a couple years ago, a software that we use for our phone system. The vendor passed an update out that kind of goes automatically out to the computers. And it was found later, not from cyber, but it was just found with general, because other companies use the software as well, that there was a potential malware inside that official update that went out. And so they notified us of that, proactively removed the software from the computers. And then any computers, even though there was no signs that anything had happened, like we've been compromised, proactively went and we wiped the computers, cleaned them out completely, reinstalled everything just to be as above board as we can and make sure we didn't have anything actually happen from having that on there. And that was all pretty quick. It was it went out, found out there's something, and immediately they were inconveniencing us, if you will. I was like, hey, I got to take your computer and you're going to be down because I got to wipe everything. Sorry. And it was like, oh, darn, it'll make me lose a little bit of work. But the alternative is, you don't do anything and roll the dice on whether anything happens or doesn't happen to our system. So we've been both fortunate, but some of that is because we have been proactive in hiring a company to handle and do that for us, to kind of be the eyes and ears in those markets, in those trends. They're aware of what the threats are and how to manage, handle, and detect them, which frees us up to, operate kind of not without a care in the world, but without that being always on our head and our brain going, are we going to get hacked today? Are we going to get hacked today? Are they going to take our water system out? Are they going to take electricity out? And so that's what we've kind of done with them. And, we're happy with it, and we're continuing to operate, with them as our cybersecurity vendor of choice at the moment. Happy to answer any specific questions you have.
We tabled the item for the upgrades today.
Yes.
I'm assuming upgrades further strengthen our cybersecurity if we're out of older technologies getting into.
Yeah, I mean, they're dovetailed together. Some of it was because the infrastructure is reaching its end of life with the vendor. Once you do that, you start losing the ability to get security patches and security updates. Some of the other stuff was due to benefit is cost, trying to get things before market trends on hardware continues to increase. But yeah, it's all integrated, one, to help us with our resources, because we're getting close on reaching our max allocation on those systems, which then could start slowing our systems down, which then affects our day-to-day business. And then, like you mentioned, moving to newer hardware away from stuff that's reaching end of life, end of support. So we aren't leaving ourselves open to unexpected outages where you can't get replacement hardware, or vulnerabilities that don't get patched because it's out of life with that vendor.
Why are we tabling it today?
We're tabling it today, honestly, because I didn't feel we had the proper information aggregated and collected to adequately, one, explain and probably answer the questions that would come up in the board meeting, to make sure that we were completely prepared. So it was more of, I just didn't feel that we had the right information. We were missing some quotes that we couldn't get to bring. And obviously, if we don't have multiple quotes, I mean, I don't think you guys would make a decision if we come up here and it's like, well, we got one quote and we don't really have on our hands the other quotes, though we know the dollar value. I mean, that's not really, the way that I understand that things operate.
It's a good process.
Perspective, it's just Seth's a really good manager, does good at what he does, and he wasn't comfortable, so I was like, let's table it. So I would add that management really supports IT, and even when it's annoying for employees, like when I first got here, I made sure that every computer had a password, and that they timed out after 5 minutes, which was extremely unpopular at first, but bit the bullet. That's just the standard these days. For all this money we borrow from SRF, we have to go through a cybersecurity audit, and we passed it with flying colors. And I think, John, you sent those emails out, right? We everything worked out with that. We go, and any free cybersecurity thing that comes along from the state, we participate in, and we're just doing the best we can. And there's always threats out there, but I do get a report from Exos about once a month. Sandra's on that report list too, where they don't really, they tell you how many things they've blocked with these different softwares they have. See, it's like you can't really count opportunities missed for us to get hacked, but it's a measure, it's a proactive measure. So they are doing things. Thanks, Seth.
Say, at the end of the day, was it scale that was going to be recommended?
That was where the direction we were leaning towards. That is correct.
So at the end of the day, you think you'll still be settling there?
To be honest,
Don't know
I
yet.
am not entirely thinking too much. It's basically the quotes and the way the quotes were obtained. I just didn't feel really met the requirements the right way that we needed to obtain all that information. And so we wanted to go back and kind of re-request things in a more proper manner to make sure that everything was on a level playing field across all the vendors that we got the quotes from.
Okay.
That's good.
Yep. Well,
Thank you, sir.
we'll have another discussion on it then here coming up.
All right.
All right. Anything else regarding our working session? Ed?
I don't have anything else. Anybody on my team really need to bring anything up, or Jeff?
I bring something up that's not on the agenda?
It's fine with me if it's fine with the legal.
Why are we updating the city standards after?
We try to update them every 2 years, so I believe they were
There's some sort of technical change?
Yes, there's a handful of different.
And they're designing one.
Have electric standards?
We do have electric standards.
Okay. They last updated.
Same time.
Same time.
Oh, really? Well, okay. So will that be included in this update? Is that what you're asking?
That may have just been hot off the press suggestion to Mr. Bailey from the via text, so.
Well, those are different, right? I think those are more written standards versus.
I don't know.
I think we would like to include maybe.
Is that going to increase your price?
Well, it will,
Probably.
it will not, well, that and I'm not an electrical engineer, as I stated earlier. So we'll talk about Presto, and that will increase the price. I would fill up in utilities, but not for me.
Okay.
But we can always
Yeah.
work together and integrate. It's just not something I can sign and say.
Very interesting. Our city's very patient. I had a big, thick engineering standards, 2 books at Lilly, and we got quarterly updates, so. Each engineers owed different standards, so they would update them as they saw fit.
Change, yeah.
Yeah, times have changed a bit.
One of our hangups is trying to coordinate that with the city standards as well. And rolled out at the same time as we would like. So that's a little bit of a challenge. So what we may do to just move that along is that we may approve the utility standards, electric, water, wastewater, at utility level, and then let those sit and pend and wait for the city and ask that they just be placed on the earliest possible agenda.
Standards out of the board of the city council looked at
They were approved, not quite at that level, but yeah, it wasn't quite the process, even though bureaucratic process of the corporation is pretty large too. All right. Do I hear a motion to close?
I'll make a motion to close.
Second, we're closed. See everyone in 10 minutes, 10-minute break.